I hope you guys can hear me and see me okay. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. Now, a lot of you have seen what's been going on in the cannabis space. There's a lot of businesses being created, a lot of opportunities that have emerged, a lot of action happening, and a lot of you have asked me about it. And so today we have an opportunity to talk about what's going on in the industry. Today, my good brother, Mr. Larry Smith, who is the CEO and founder of G5 Cultivation, is in the building. How you doing today, brother?
Good, brother. How about yourself?
Doing very well, very well. I'm so glad you're here. And everybody, as you come in, greet Mr. Smith, give him a hello, and also hit the thumbs up button. Everybody hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. That's very important. Okay, so let's just jump into the conversation, man. Let me just say this. I have been watching the cannabis industry in its evolution. I feel like it's going to be probably I don't know, few $100 billion market. I don't know how many hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars will be made, but it seems like a massive industry, and that as it's being legalized slowly but surely around the world, people just, there are people that are either chasing the money and not getting it, or people that are just making money hand over fist. So tell me about G5 and what do you see kind of happening right now in the industry?
Well, first of all, thank you again for having me. It's an honor to be on here. And G5 is a predominantly Black-owned cannabis company based out of Las Vegas, Nevada. We built our building from the ground up. If you look at our YouTube, I kind of showed you from the very beginning what we were doing and how we were doing it. And I wanted people to see from the very beginning of how we were going to do this process. Once we committed our minds to go ahead and start the process to get the license, we wanted to show people step by step, because I understood walking into those rooms in the county building and there's 300 people, and then you look up and there's 2 African Americans that are applying for the license. That kind of drains you a little bit. It slaps you into a real reality that, damn, we're going to get excluded from this. And part of that, to be honest with you, is really our faults, though, because we need to come together. And for me, I felt like a lot of them, that's what they did. They came together, they formed their corporations, their businesses, and they put their money together, and they went. I mean, I would go into those meetings, Dr. Boyce, and see people that owed me money, doctors or attorneys that I deal with, they would owe me money, and they would be in a group, and I'd be like, yo, you just got money from me. How are you getting in this group, right? And then they would tell me little things they did, and they put their money together, and that's something we didn't do. I went to people and went to my people like, yo, hey, I'm going to go start this cultivation. I'm going to get in the game, and I need some help. And if you want to put in, and man, the church door was closing left and right. It wasn't until I started building the building and people could see the pillars going up and the doors getting put on, then people started to realize, oh no, he was serious. Like he really got in. And it's been good for us. We've had some ups and downs, but for the most part, it's any other business's growing pains. Financially, it's been a burden on me personally, just because we don't have federal banking. So everything I've done has pretty much come out of my own pocket. I have other businesses that I was able to take from, and then I included a couple of investors that I knew, people that I knew that wanted to get in, and that really helped. Maintain G5 and get it up and going. So it's pretty interesting road for me for the last 3 years. It's been pretty different than what I'm normally doing.
So let me ask you this, man. And I'm speaking to Larry Smith, CEO and founder of G5 Cultivation. You can follow him right there on Instagram. The IG is right there if you guys want to reach out to this brother. That's really interesting. So if you were to describe the profitability of what you've been doing, margins, or just how you compare it to other businesses, what would you say? It sounds like to me, with the lack of the federal banking support, meaning that it's tough to go and just get a bank loan to do the things you want to do. You're kind of doing stuff in this weird world where, we had the old school dope dealers where everything had to be off the grid. And then you got, full legalization at the other end of the spectrum, but you're kind of operating in the middle almost. It's almost like, like I remember when I visited I think I think okay, was it in Vegas? Was I with you when I went to Vegas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. You gotta forgive me, man. My
Yeah,
memory is weird, man.
got
But I remember noticing that how they would have there was that big safe like right there on the facility, like to protect the money. It's like some Pablo Escobar type shit. So how is that? Like, is cannabis the industry itself, cultivation? Is that a good way to make money?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And there's a lot of ways to do it now. It's not just growing as far as the cannabis or the dispensaries. There's packaging. There's a lot of things that we could be getting into, especially in our culture, that we could be doing, and we do it well. Designing. Listen. What I've learned in this industry is this. My growers make $100,000 or more, right? So it's at the point where they're getting to that point. So there's a lot of things that we need to be teaching our kids. In cannabis, it's not just putting a seed in the water and putting some water on it growing. There's a lot of components to growing the plant. So you have biology, and I say this because I know you're an educational guy, and we need to strive on the education. I mean, when you walk to my building, there's AC units everywhere. So that means we have to know AC, we have to know plumbing, the biology, the microbiology. There's so much science into what we're feeding the plants that it's ridiculous. It's just not pouring water in the plant. I mean, in my facility, we have 6,000 plants that are going normally at any given time. So you have to be on top of that. And there's agriculture. We have to worry about pest management because there's bugs that'll come and kill your crop. I mean, it's not as easy as they make it seem. And that's the one thing that I want to stress to people is it's not as easy. But I think we should be preparing our kids, our youth, to start getting back to forms of agriculture, growing. Because if we can grow a tomato, or a potato or greens, then we can grow these plants as well. And I think it's a market for our kids to get into. And there is a lack of really good growers. And what I mean by that is, when I first got in, you would have these growers that would come to me and say, "Hey, I grew, man, I'm a grower." And then you go, "Okay." And then they go, "What were you growing at?" "Well, my mom had a basement. I used to go in the basement, And it's a whole different ball game of growing, 30, 40 plants compared to 6,000 plants. And so I think that we need to really get in the game. It doesn't have to always be, on a ownership level as far as that. I mean, if you're a good grower, man, you're going to make some money. If you're a really good grower, we're going to pay you. I'm going to pay you if you're a really good grower. If you're not, you're going to be going around down the road. There's just so many streams of revenue to get into. Our profit margins are pretty good. Even with them being taxable, as the tax that they do implement on us, there's a big, heavy tax. It's a good industry right now, man. I mean, the pandemic, we didn't fold at all. I had people that once we got the building up who I would say, "Hey, listen, I want to be able to take G5 and go to other places. I want to go to Atlanta and buy buildings and buy land so I can get these projects up and duplicate what I have here in Vegas." And they didn't get it. And then once the pandemic hit, and then you start seeing that cannabis, man, I think we increased 140%. I mean, it was nonstop for us. It didn't stop at all. So it's one of those things that almost lets you know that there's a recession-proof side to it, as well as the pandemic side.
Oh yeah. There's definitely gonna be a recession-proof side to it. It's yeah. I mean, in fact, I even wonder if the sales might go up during a recession.
But that's what I'm saying. But the average ticket sale in the dispensary was $78, and that went from $78 to $192.
What during the pandemic?
100%. 100%.
Wow.
So
wow.
I was baffled. I was like, I mean, some things I understood, because people are at home more, they can smoke more, they don't have to be at work anymore, they can Zoom, they can, you know what I'm saying? So it made it a little different, but the financial side is what threw me off. It's like, damn, these people are getting some extra money. I personally would have been buying, smoke. I mean, but then again, I do understand that it is medicine to a lot of people, and that part I really understood. That from the hood, you think, man, it's weed and this and that, and then the more I've gotten into it, the more I realize that a lot of people really need this to get through their day, to eliminate certain things. It's totally changed my perspective on what cannabis really is. I don't call it weed anymore. I call it cannabis. So if you ever get pulled over, tell them you got cannabis, not weed. It's a different mindset that makes you, there's all those stereotypes, So cannabis is a healing medicine, and I do understand a little bit more about that.
Wow. Well, everybody who just came in, I'm speaking with Mr. Larry Smith. He's the CEO and founder of G5 Cultivation. And that's G and the words 5 spelled out, right? G5 Cultivation. Okay. And I put your Instagram up here. By the way, is there a website that people can go to find you?
They can go to G5 Cultivation, and the 5 is spelled out as well, www.g5cultivation. And we have a website up. And if you're in Vegas, hopefully you can stop by a dispensary and check us out if you do partake in the medical side or medicine. It's recreational here, but to me, the recreational was just a way to tax people, right? Because in my opinion, there's no reason why it should be a 15% tax. And you have oxycodone, Oxycontin, Loratab, all these things are killing people, literally killing people on a daily basis, and they're taxed at 2%. And I just felt like that was a matter for the states to get the money. And they're definitely doing it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you that when you look at what Oxy did to society, it's crazy. It's terrible. So I don't even put weed in the same category unless you're talking about much healthier alternatives to some of that stuff that they're pushing on us. I mean, there's nothing good there's very little good I can think about when it comes to Oxy and all that, except when you really need it, But with cannabis, I personally became educated. I had to be re-educated, like I grew up in the whole say no to drugs kind of era, and because I said no to drugs, alcohol, all of that, I had put weed in the same category with things that can really destroy you. And I still don't smoke. It's funny. I still don't smoke, but my view of it has shifted to the point that I have I don't know if you call it cannabis or hemp cream or whatever, but we use all kinds of cannabis related products.
Absolutely.
Like I found it was great to put on my legs after I finished running, and those things like that, right? And so it almost seems like it's easing into the mainstream psyche, and I'm almost guessing that it seems to me like we're not far from legalization in the United States. I mean, how far away do you think we are from just federal legalization where this just all goes out in the open?
Well, for some reason, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but there's clearly something going on because the Biden administration seemed like they were gung-ho to get everything going, and all of a sudden they've kind of hit the brakes recently. I just saw the thing where you posted Chuck Schumer, they're talking about getting it passed. And listen, they definitely need to pass it because we definitely need banking. We don't keep cash on us like that. I mean, but it is kind of frustrating for us to have to. It's ironic that when I go make an IRS payment, it's in cash, or if I'm paying the state, it's in cash, right? So it's kind of ironic that they can take the money and then go put it into an account, whereas I can't. Right? They shut down all of my accounts, all of my businesses. Luckily, I had some friends that were able to help me get back banking. But my stipulation is I can't deposit any cash. We still do everything normal. We have places to put it in the safe and companies that come and take it to where we're not robbed and we don't keep cash on the building. But it makes it hard. And I think that there's an issue, I think, they don't want to make it federal right away because then it opens the floodgates for all the big guys to truly, truly, truly come in and try to take over these markets. And one of the things a lot of people like me say is that I want to keep it state to state. I just want to take it off the Schedule 1, and then that way we can, if it's off the Schedule 1, I can get banking. And for me, that banking will be important because now that I have crops, and crops as in the cannabis crops, it's like now I become a farmer. I'm a part of agriculture, and it would be nice for me to go because I don't have the funding to go and come to you and go, hey, what city are you in? I want to go and put a license in. I want to buy a building. Can you show me around? I want to go to Atlanta. I want to go to these places. New York just became legal. You want to have that capital to get in the game. If not, we're going to get left behind again, and it moves really fast. The cannabis moves really fast.
Wow. Well, everybody, by the way, if you just came in, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. We're trying to build Black media over here, and we could really use your help. If you have not subscribed to the channel you're on, please take 1 second, make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, because, this is where we talk to you about the stuff that you're not going to hear in mainstream media. This is where we bring in Black folks that are doing great things. And I can tell you, with Larry Smith, Larry and I, we only talk when I came to Vegas, and we talked again today. And I consider Larry a solid guy. He's a real solid dude, and and I'm telling you, you treated me real well when I was down there, man, and I appreciated that very much. And so I think that we need to learn about the solid individuals in our community that are doing solid work. So this is what the platform is here for. So support that, please. We would love to have your backing. Now, with that said, let me ask you this, man. I'm gonna tell you where I made my money in cannabis, right? I actually talked to some folks about, making investments in cannabis, and I think I just got kind of, I don't know, when business is very hands-on, I'm more like, I don't want to do no work. I like that passive. To be passive means really passive. Like, I'm a passive for all the work. Maybe it's just lazy, but let me tell you a way that I made a lot of money in cannabis. I'll tell you what it is, and you can just kind of give me your thoughts on it. So you know what I did, right? I started buying stock in different companies that would benefit from the Biden presidency. In our Black Stock Market program, I was telling people about some of the cannabis stocks I was looking into, like Tilray. Tilray's in Canada. I'm sure you know about Tilray, and that stock made us a ton of money. Like I was selling the options every week just in case the stock plummeted. And even with that, all of that, I was able to really do well just by investing in that very passive way in the index funds and that whatever, because I felt that I knew, and we all knew, I think. I don't think you have to be a rocket scientist to understand this, but I said, if Biden gets elected, these stocks are going to go up. If they even think he'll get elected, the stocks will go up. And here's another prediction. I'm going to make this publicly so everybody can hear it, so we can play this video when it happens. I don't think that they even expect Biden to last for his whole term, let alone 2 terms. Well, if Biden is not around in a couple of years, and I don't wish it on nobody. I'm not wishing this. I'm saying the man he's not 25 years old. He's almost 80. Well, guess who becomes president at that point? Kamala Harris, right? So they backdoor Kamala in there. Well, I remember noticing, and maybe you can speak on this from what you know, but if I recall, Biden was in favor of the decriminalization of weed, whereas Kamala seems to be in favor of legalization. That she actually, that's why she went on the Breakfast Club and strategically mentioned smoking weed, listening to Biggie and Pop back in the 80s. Y'all remember that? And I noticed. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Tell me what's right and wrong, and what do you think about my thought process on all of that?
Well, listen, anytime you can make some money on the passive side, and that's where I came from. I was more on that side. I was in my other businesses. I was buying homes in my community, and I was like I was telling you, I have a factoring company where I buy. So I'm literally writing checks, and in 8-9 months I'm collecting a check, right? So really good passive income. And now being at the Grow is really hands-on. And it took me a minute to get my mindset to go back to work, right? But now, I'm really cool with 50 Cent. 50 Cent helped me out a lot in putting up, he put up a lot of my stuff on his website, and we would have really good conversations. 50 is a really smart brother. I mean, no matter what they tell you about the bullying and whatnot, very smart, really behind the scenes helping a lot of people. And he definitely helped a brother like me. So he would talk to me about certain things, and he would talk to me about getting the right people to run your business. He's not the smartest guy in the room, but he's paying the smartest guy in the room to handle his business. And the cannabis has been that for me, to where now I sit back and I found the right guys, the right team, and they handle business. So it's been great for me on that side. I do think that because she kind of, Vice President Harris kind of changed the tune a little bit recently, and she kind of went with the rhetoric of what Biden and those guys are talking. So that's why I say something's going on. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something going on to where she kind of changed her tune. I read that she was kind of on board with what Biden was doing. So I don't know what they're doing. I just wish they give us banking. It would eliminate a lot of problems for me. It created a lot of problems for me on a financial level, on my other businesses as well as my personal. Like I can't fly now. If I check a bag in, the TSA is checking my bag. So there's got to be kind of list that we're on. And those things don't bother me because I don't carry stuff on a plane. But it's more or less it's created a problem, and I wish the feds go ahead and take it off of the Schedule 1, decriminalize it, and I think you're going to start seeing a lot of more different kind of drugs. Mushrooms are going to start to become decriminalized. They're making a big push to decriminalize a lot of this stuff, and I think it should be decriminalized. I think people that have records should be expunged. It's a plant, for God's sake, at the end of the day. And it's a horrible law that they've obviously done to incarcerate, especially people of color, black and brown. We all know these. You've heard the stats. You've seen the stats of what they do. And it's time for them to stop. And, let us give us an opportunity to, stop making these licenses so hard to get when it comes to people of color, because they're still eliminating us. In Vegas, you had to have a minimum of $250,000 liquid for each license in order to get in the game. Well, I had that, but when you look at the brothers next to me, some of them might have been liquid. They couldn't show it all, right?
Right.
but black people have the money, and then like I said earlier, a lot of it's our fault too, because there was a lot of people that I went to that looked like me, and one, I think they were afraid. We don't trust each other a lot of times in our community. We're giving, it's a lot of money that you're giving me to put up. And then what I did learn too is that a lot of times when it comes to investing in our people, sometimes they don't realize they want everything fast, instant. So that's why I like the Instagrams, the fast food, everything is sped up for them. So when I would go to someone and go, hey, you're giving me 100,000 and it's going to be, you're going to get, 3 percentage points. And it might be a year and a half before we see any income. They look at me and go crazy and go, hey, this is weed, man. I could flip that in 2 days. And it's like, yeah, but I got a $25,000 power bill. It's not like I'm going to the hills in California and I'm picking it up, putting it in my trunk, putting in some baggies and selling it. I mean, I got overhead. It's a legitimate business now. I pay taxes, power bill, water bill, sewer bill. All of those things apply to me in a business. Unemployment tax. All of those things apply. So it's a different game, and we needed that capital. Luckily for us, we made it through. I had some bumps in the road. I got sued. Ended up going through a 5-day trial, winning the trial, and now the person was trying to get $1 billion from me, didn't do any work. Ended up the judge just granted us, they owe us $250,000. So it's one of those.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That legal stuff is not fun. It's and it's terrible because it can happen even when you did nothing wrong, and it's a pain, man. Well, I'm curious on a personal note. I noticed you got Darth Vader behind you. Is that your office that you're in right now?
Well, yeah, this is my lean office. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I believe in I know it sounds crazy, but I believe in the Force. I believe in doing right. I believe in the Jedi way, as you would say, right? So we take a lot of those principles from those movies, and we try to implement those in business. And I know some people look at me and go, "You really believe that stuff?" And I'm like, "Well, I believe in the principles of it." I don't know if you're a Star Wars fan or not, but
hell yeah, I love that. That's why I noticed Darth Vader was behind you.
I got all of them. I got the storm. Man,
look at that! I didn't see the stormtrooper.
Yeah, my office is full of It's full of Star. You come in my office, man. You're gonna see Yoda. You're gonna see everything going on. We're protected over here. The energy is good over here.
Man, I love it. I love it. I've been watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, and that whole baby Yoda thing is just tripping me out. Seeing Yoda as a little infant. I think that's great, man, and I'm all for that. I think whenever people make fun of me, because my thing is I started playing video games for fun because I used to play them a lot. Back in the day, I said, well, let me play again, and then give me a chance to talk to my kids. And then I created a little Twitch channel, and what we do is we get on there. I'll play video games and talk about stocks. And I noticed a lot of young brothers were coming in there, and they're like, "Oh, Dr. Boyce, you play video games?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, maturity's, what we call maturity, I believe is kind of overrated. It's like, no, just be yourself, live your life. What fun is it to go out and succeed and make money and everything if you can't really have fun? Like, whatever the kid is inside of you, bring that kid out. It's okay. That's my Twitch channel, by the way. If anybody wants, I'll be on there today, actually. But yeah, man. So let me ask you this. So as we head out, what's on the horizon for G5? Like, I really feel like, despite the fact that you're going through so many challenges with this, I mean, you're handling it quite well, it sounds. I mean, you got a lot of support from 50 Cent and many others that I'm sure you can name if you want to name. I know Kanye's aware of your work. A lot of people have seen the great work that you're doing. And you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you're surviving it. You're making it work. And I really feel like when the legalization occurs, when the gates are finally open, banking systems caught up with the times, G5 will be one of the companies that will be on that cutting edge. Almost like crypto. How you had now it's easy to buy crypto, but but to me the strongest players in crypto, the crypto millionaires and billionaires, are the people that were into crypto before it was easy to get into, when they were buying Bitcoins for $1 and whatnot. It almost feels like that's where G5 is going to be. Am I accurate in that? What are your thoughts on that?
100%. If I could live in a really good world, I would love to form a council of people that look like you and I, and to run them through to get them to understand that the licenses are worth something. And what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that it's all about distribution points. So if I can get a cultivation in Vegas, and I have one in Arizona, and I have one in California, Atlanta, Memphis, Texas, wherever we're going with it, and we can just go get the licenses. And it's not that much to get when I say it's not that much, I mean, you have to show you have the money, but to actually do the paperwork and to do these things, like my actual license probably really only cost me about $40,000. But what happens is, once you get the license, there's the value, right? You have a license. So in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if we could just go by from state to state and collect the licenses, and then if we really have the capital to go through and purchase the land to own the buildings, can you imagine what everyone thinks that the pharmaceutical companies are coming to us to buy us out, but it hasn't been that so far. The people that are reaching out to me to buy G5 Cultivation has been the alcohol industry. And it's crazy because alcohol sales have dipped, right? And so to me, the way I look at it is, one of the guys that came to me was from Anheuser-Busch, and he told me, he goes, listen, we've dipped a little bit, but we figure if we pick guys like you up, and if they're smoking cannabis or they're drinking, it doesn't matter to us anymore. We own them both. The profit margin is good for us both. And so what I would love to see is us as Black people. Right now, I have one of my strains is Cameron Pink Mink from Dipset, and I have Big Baby Bud, which is he's a comedian out of North Carolina. And I always preach to them, like, man, if we could ever get everybody to put their funds together and work as a team and get these licenses. And it doesn't have to be a G5. It could be something else. I see Jay-Z's in the game now. I wish I was a part of his conversation, just to let him know, like, listen, you have the funds, to do it ourselves and rebuild it. It'll take us a little bit longer, like it always does. But in the end, that sell point is going to be phenomenal. And more important for me, I look at it like this. I have 2 kids. I have 2 children. My son's a firefighter, just became a firefighter. And my daughter just graduated. She graduated high school. She has a degree, 2-year degree fresh out of high school. So this is a legacy thing for me. This is what you and the other guy was talking about, leaving your kids something in generational wealth and handing it down and going. I think there's an opportunity for us to really expand. And I'm getting there. I'm slowly but surely getting licenses in other places. It's taking me a lot longer because we don't have the banking. And once again, our people don't trust as well. They think that we finna be out here on the yacht and the boat. And I was making money before all of this, so I got a couple coins. I was buying gold coins, and that's how I started. I was buying gold coins. I've been betting sports since I was 16. I was buying gold coins, man, when they were 200, 300 an ounce, and I was around a bunch of guys attorneys that were hip, and I've been betting sports since I was 16. probably make a couple $100,000 a year just betting sports. That's my stock market compared to yours.
I
Right?
love it, man. Well,
Yeah.
I love it. Everybody, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done it yet, please do that right now. Also, I want you to know that the conversation that we just had is with Larry Smith. Larry is the CEO and founder of G5 Cultivation. You can follow him on Instagram right there. Also, you can go to g5cultivation.com in order to check that out. And also, just so everybody knows before we bounce on out, this weekend, you guys know the Black Business School is sponsoring the Black Love Weekend. This is all about men and women getting along with each other. Black folks, we don't understand. Let me explain to you. Part of the reason that Larry is here is because Larry is, he probably knows this about himself, but I'll say it out loud. He's a great relationship builder. He's built great relationships with people that are supportive of his journey and have gained respect for him. And it's because he carries himself as a solid guy. And so the Black Love Weekend, that's what it's about. It's about relationships, not just who you marry and all that, but also how you manage your friendships, how you manage your business partnerships, all of that. And in fact, Larry, I'd like for you to kind of, I'm sure you're a Jedi, so I'm sure you got a philosophy on everything. So what is your philosophy in terms of how you deal with people? Because the people that I know that know you, they all say great things about you, and that's a contrast, right? Because you and I both know people that that maybe don't have that same reputation. How important is relationships and your ability to do business? You broke bread with 50 Cent and a lot of other people that have a lot of respect for you. Talk about relationships, so in terms of making money, so that our audience can kind of walk away with something that's going to benefit them. What are your thoughts on that?
The relationship is everything. It's everything. And you have to understand, there are certain things that I've learned from me. I've growing up without a father. My grandmother raised me, one of those stories, right? But when my grandmother raised me, I mean, she really instilled a lot of things in me, and it's all about the relationships. On my other side of business, I've been dealing with my attorneys and doctors for over 22 years, and I have 4 guys that I constantly deal with. And I could have made more money dealing with other people, but there's that old term that not all money is good money. And then so have I left money on the table? Absolutely. But I also kept my peace. And I think that as a people that sometimes, as a Jedi, as we say in the Jedi world, you have to really feel, the young kids will say it's a vibe, right? So as older guys, we have to learn to listen to that vibe and understand who you're vibing with and just be yourself. That's one of the things that he told me was be myself. I don't go in the boardroom and change up. I mean, I know how to talk. I can talk when I'm in a room a little differently, but I'm saying I'm going to be the same person. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to compromise. I'm not going to do things. I'm 48 years old. I've lived my life enough to understand what I'm willing to do. I'm not going to go to take any penitentiary chances, especially at this age. Maybe when I was a little younger, I probably would have took some of those risks, but the relationship is everything, man. And I've always tried to be a stand-up guy and to be honorable in everything that I do. Not everything that I do is going to work out for me. If me and you have a relationship, sometimes it might benefit you a lot more than me. If me and you are busting out a pot, you might get 80%. I might only get 10 or 20%. But at the end of the day, there might be a flip where you send me a deal that I might get 80% and you may get 20%. At the end of the day, and I've had so many deals happen to me that way that it's always been good. My nephew came to me the other day, and he's kind of struggling. He's 26 years old. He's going through that point where he's trying to make the transition. He goes, it seems like everything goes good for you. And I'm like, boy, if you only really knew. But I told him, I said, the reason why that is because I try to do the right things. And if you do the right things, they'll eventually come your way. And I know it's hard for people to understand that, but good things come to those. Good things come to those who wait. And if you're honorable with it and you're not slimy with it, I just don't believe in being slimy with you. I feel like it doesn't benefit me. I always tell my kids, we don't worship money. We make it, but we're not going to worship it. There's a difference. There's enough money out there to be made, right? There's tons of money. Cam has a quote where he says, if you can't get money in the earth this big, you're worthless, kid. right? And I mean that in a more sincere way. And the fact that there's tons of money out there. Just go figure out the right way to do it. And don't be in such a hurry to get it. When I was younger, when I was hustling as a 16-year-old kid on the block, I don't have any of that stuff. Everything that I've worked hard for, and I have everything. I got low riders, I got 6'4". I got everything you can think of that a big kid would want, convertible cars. Like, we have all that stuff. And we keep them because we've built good relationships. And I mean, if you do people right, I do believe that those opportunities will come. I would have no problem calling you saying, hey, Dr. Boyce, I got a deal over here. I'm cash poor. Maybe you can get on. I'm going to miss this one, but I think this will be a good opportunity. I have no problem sharing those deals with people that I trust and that I feel are good, honorable people.
Well, there you go. I hope everybody listening, picked up on that. And I think that was a great point. I'm glad you broke it down really, really well. And so if you want to know what the Black Love Weekend's all about, it starts on the 10th of this weekend. We're going to go all weekend long. We have a lot of experts on relationships. And I don't want you to just think about, like trying to go pick up a woman or pick up a man. Like, that's part of it. But it's really about, how do you pick up a good friend? How do you pick up a partner? How do you avoid toxic people? Because like my brother said, I'm telling you, me and Larry have both made money, and we both walked away. I would say I think we both probably walked away from more money than a lot of people make in a whole lifetime. Because you just get in there and you're like, man, this ain't worth it. Yeah. like, you gonna get somebody locked up. You're gonna get somebody beat up. You're gonna get some, so being able to identify that, and then also making sure you carry yourself in a way where good people will want to re-engage with you. That brings abundance, man. And I cannot emphasize that to everybody in here. If you really want, think about it like anything else. Like, if you're a salesperson, if you're adding value to the person you're selling to, they're gonna want to buy from you. You don't even have to make a sale. Right? Or if you're fulfilling their need, they're going to want to support you. They're not going to do it out of the goodness of their heart. They're going to do it because it benefits them as well. So find good people, get in a space with good people. And what you'll find is that you'll just start seeing little money opportunities popping up everywhere. So Black Love Weekend is what we're going to talk about. We got licensed experts coming through. So everybody, please check that out. Now, let me give this brother's information before we head out. And I'm going to let you get the last word, Larry, before we go. You can follow Larry Smith, CEO and founder of G5 Cultivation, at G5 Cultivation, or you can go to g5cultivation.com. I encourage everybody in here that loves Black business, support the brother, follow him on Instagram, go to the website, check out what they got going on. And Larry, did you have anything you wanted to share before we bounce out?
I just want to thank you, man. And I want people to understand that that at G5, we do understand that we have an obligation to our people. You're not going to catch me selling pounds out the back door. You're not going to, we really want to do things the right way. We represent the urban Black youth of America. So we want to make sure, and the brown of America, because so I just want to make sure that people understand that we do things the right way. We want to represent the culture. We want you guys to understand that we're doing it the right way. We've been incarcerated for this plant, and we want to make a change. We want to be able to build and employ people that look like us, who otherwise wouldn't get the opportunities to do it. So that's what you're getting when you get for G5. And we're always going to give back to our community and knowledge, wisdom as much as we can. And we just hope that people understand that it's real over here. What you see on our IG is real. It's nothing fake. We don't fake anything. If I just keep it real with you, they say real recognize real. So I just want to keep it real with you guys and let you guys know that we really do appreciate all the love and support, and we feed off that support. My guys feed off that support. Thank you again for having me, man. It's really an honor for me to be I was told in my lawsuit that I wasn't a real businessman. And so to be here, I feel like I made it. I'm going to be honest. I feel like, shit, I'm on Dr. Boyce. You know what I'm saying? Man, you can't tell me shit today, to be honest with you.
Well, Larry Smith, you are not just a businessman. You are a businessman. Yeah. So this brother's doing well. Everybody, please follow Larry at G5 Cultivation. Once again, before we head out, the blackloveweekend.com. We get started this weekend. Dr. Alicia will be there along with a lot of other experts. So you can check that out if you're into relationships. And also, if you want to support the platform, we do have a Patreon at intelligentblackpeople.com. This is Black Media. I hope you guys see the value in what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build and trying to go, trying to reach. So your support is incredibly valuable. So God bless everybody. Hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button on your way out. We are gone. See you soon. Peace.